Hello, everyone. It's Lillian Reiki here from the Parent Support Network, coming in today with episode 26 of Parent Support Network TV. So today you might think my topic is a little weird, especially if you saw my post promoting it about unplugging this fancy appliance that toasts your bread just the way you want it, makes the perfect cup of coffee or whatever beverage you love in the morning, and also prepares your favorite breakfast on demand. So imagine having an incredible appliance that did all of that. How incredible would that be? Now, for that appliance to work, so for you, when you get up in the morning and you want to start getting that ready, you want your coffee to start brewing and your toast to start cooking and the rest of your breakfast to be prepared, it has to be plugged in, right? It is not going to work if it is unplugged. So energetically, via, in this case, electricity, it needs to be plugged in to be able to access all of that amazingness, the amazing features that this appliance has. Brews your coffee, cooks your toast to perfection, makes you the yummiest breakfast ever. So it needs to be plugged in. And what happens when it's not plugged in? There's no connection, right? There's no energy going through it. There's no electricity going through it. And therefore you don't reap the benefits of the things that appliance does. So Howard Glasser, who founded the Nurtured Heart approach that hopefully you all know I'm very passionate about now, loves to use stories and analogies to explain how the Nurtured Heart approach works and how it's a really great way for us parents to be able to understand concepts that he's teaching in the Nurtured Heart approach. And he talks about the toaster analogy. And just so that I get the story right, I'm actually going to read this little section. So this is from one of Howard's books, Transforming the Intense Child Workbook. And I actually use this workbook in my parenting course, my Nurture Your Heart to Greatness parenting course that I do. My next one, by the way, is coming up in just a week's time on Thursday, the 16th of June. So Howie was talking about, he was in the kitchen of a family he was coaching on using the Nurtured Heart approach. And the parents were struggling to understand and correctly use the reset. So if you're not sure what the reset is, I talked about the reset last week. So in the Nurtured Heart approach, there are 3 stands. So the first stand is absolutely no. That's not giving energy to what you don't want to grow, not giving energy and attention and relationship to the disrespect, to the not listening, to the squabbling and fighting, etc. Stand 2 is absolutely yes, which is coming in with beautiful connected relationship and energy, acknowledging and recognizing the children and other people that you're communicating with in a very energetic and very heart-centered way, to show them what they are doing right and to recognize them for even the baby steps towards, moving closer towards doing the right thing. Stand 3 is absolute clarity. So that's having clarity around rules and consequences, and it also encompasses the reset. So in the Nurtured Heart approach, we don't really condone harsh punishments. We don't use traditional timeout, taking away privileges, extra chores, etc., for the everyday misdemeanors that happen in the home. We have something called the reset. So we teach the reset both through modeling and showing the children that in any given moment when things are not going right, when they're perhaps breaking a rule or being uncooperative or disrespectful, etc., that we can actually ask the child to reset back to their greatness. So reset away from the negative situation, whatever that means for them. It could be, taking some deep breaths or just, composing themselves and coming back into a place where they can move forward with more positivity. Now, it doesn't always work that simply, but the more it's modeled and the more it's used, the more children learn that self-control and can reset themselves, as do we as parents, right? So in this situation, Howie was coaching with a family with a youngster who they were having a lot of quite intense challenges with. So rather than me ad-libbing it, I'll actually read the story. So the parents were struggling to understand and correctly use the reset. which I've just explained to you. While casting about for some new way to explain it, Howie noticed the family's gleaming, fancy, multi-featured toaster. He goes, let's say this is the most amazing toaster on the planet, indicating the one on the counter. It toasts everything perfectly, exactly the way you like it. It's intuitive. It knows how you like your toast and when you are going to want it. It butters it perfectly to perfection. And let's say it even makes the perfect bread on demand. Okay, said the parents. Not only can it do all of that, but it grinds your beans and brews the coffee just right around the time you get up, just the way you love it every time. For those coffee lovers who would love that, right? It plays your radio station and knows to switch to the channel when a song comes on that you don't like, along with lots of other unique and innovative features. It is truly the best toaster ever. A little more than just a toaster, right? So that does sound like the most amazing toaster on the planet, said one of the parents. The other nodded in agreement. And when you unplug that toaster from the outlet, what happens? Howie asked. Let me ask you that. What happens when you unplug the appliance from the outlet? The toaster doesn't work, or the appliance doesn't work, whatever appliance it is you're using. So, right, plug the toaster back in and it works again. Unplug the toaster, its features are inaccessible. Unplugging always gets the same boring result. Plug it in again and you have access to all the bells and whistles. You don't lose one feature or have your favorite features blocked because you unplugged it. It's still the best toaster ever. It simply doesn't work when it's not plugged in. So resetting and using the reset with your children is like unplugging the world's most amazing toaster. That's us, right? We are the most amazing toaster. And Howie also uses the analogy of, we're their favorite toy. So it's like unplugging that favorite toy. And that's how it feels. The thing itself is there, so that the toaster is there, the favorite toy, i.e. the parent, is still there, still as present as it ever was, but the energy is gone. You still love your child dearly, but that love simply isn't currently flowing. The features don't work until it's plugged in again. Your unconditional love for your child remains whether you're plugged in or not, but here's the point, but the gift of you becomes unavailable just for the time being, and that could be for 2 or 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or a little bit longer if needed. Access denied, no backstage pass. So yeah, so that's kind of the analogy of the toaster, and basically for it to be, have the energy passing through it, it has to be plugged in. So for us as parents, for us to be energetically engaged, we have to be plugged in, right? And when we want to unplug ourselves, we have to do that through what we call the reset. So we help the children to reset themselves, but we also need to reset ourselves. So if we are feeling escalated, if we are feeling, grumpy or upset or sad about something that has happened, just annoyed, you want to pull your hair out and just go crazy. I know I talked about this on last episode, so have a listen back into that if you haven't already. Then we just have to learn how to unplug ourselves so that the children actually go, okay, this favorite toy of mine, i.e. whoever it happens to be at the moment, mum, dad, teacher, grandparent, whoever it is, I'm not going to get energy from them at the moment because they're unplugged. But we soon teach them that as soon as we see even the babyest step towards better behavior or not breaking the rule they were breaking, even the babyest step, we are going to plug ourselves back in and we're going to come back with all those bells and whistles, with all the energy for our children to let them know that we are here for them, that we see them, that we acknowledge their self-control in the moment, that they're no longer fighting or squabbling, they're using great self-control, they're showing compassion towards their sibling now because they're not hurting them, punching them or annoying them. They are being kind and thoughtful and respectful. So we need to then use those opportunities of when we plug ourselves back in to come back with all of the juicy recognition and acknowledgement. And I know this takes effort for parents and caregivers of children to learn, because I guess intuitively and naturally, we are so used to giving more of our energy, more of us. And you've heard me talk about this time and time again. And as a matter of fact, if you listen to all of my TV episodes, there's a current, reoccurring theme going through. I might say it a little bit differently each time, but it's the same theme. And nurtured heart approach is actually quite simple, but it takes effort and a change of mindset for parents to get their head around, because as I was saying, we are so used to energetically coming more to life. Our toaster, with all the bells and whistles and the intuition it has and the great features it has, we come more to life. We get plugged in and turned on, and all of the features of us work when the children are doing the wrong thing, right? Who's identified that? You come more to life when the kids are mucking up, when they're misbehaving, when they're not following the rules, when they're fighting and squabbling, when they're not getting their homework done, when they're not doing what they've been asked to do, when they're whinging and carrying on, all the stuff that drives us to distraction. That is when we come most alive. And I love when Howie says, we're never, ever too busy to come to life when things are going wrong. But often we're too busy when things are going right. So if you just, think back to the last, say, 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours, if you've got a household with active kids, think about the things that were going on and think about when you were energetically more plugged in. Now, I don't mean that you were not present for them when you were unplugged, but when were you more energetically plugged in? Was it when you were in the kitchen cooking dinner and they were quietly watching a movie or doing puzzles or reading or just being quiet? Were you energetically plugged in to them then? Or, like a lot of us parents, just say to yourself, phew, they're quiet for the moment. Awesome. I'm going to get dinner ready, or whatever it is you need to do. That's typically what most of us do, right? However, as soon as you could be in the middle of cooking dinner, you've got 2 fry pans on and stuff's happening all over the kitchen, and you hear this ruckus of, yelling and screaming and fighting and crying and, chaos is going on in there, straight away, be safe, turn off all the appliances, run into where the kids are, and you're straight away present to coming in to energize whatever the negativity that's going on. And kids actually get to learn that they get more of us, they get the plugged in version of the toaster when they muck up, when they are fighting and squabbling and carrying on. That's when they get more of us. And we can come into the room and see, okay, everybody's safe, nobody's being hurt, they're just carrying on and being kids. But we still come in and give them all this energy. What's going on? We just give all this energy to them. And that continues to show them that they get more of us when they're mucking up. And then, we go back out of the room, and then they might be quiet and playing nicely for a while. And they're like, oh, I haven't had much attention from my favorite toy for a little while. I better cause a bit of commotion so that they come back in, so that they give me more attention and energy. So rather, what we need to start doing is giving them attention and energy and connection when they're doing the right thing. Even if it's just a quick, you're in the kitchen, pop your head in the lounge room. Hey guys, I love how you're all being so cooperative together. You're playing nicely. You care about each other. You're keeping, the noise down so that I can concentrate on getting your dinner together. And I really appreciate how cooperative and compliant you're being in this moment. Thank you so much. I'll get back to dinner, and I'm really excited about preparing a really yummy, nutritious dinner for you. Like giving them that energy and connection when they're doing the right thing, rather than waiting until they're doing the wrong thing. So next time you are about to use your energy, think about the toaster analogy. Does the toaster with all of these features, us, the favorite toy, do you want to be plugged in now to give all of this energy in this moment? Or is this a good time to unplug just for a few seconds or a minute or two until things calm down, so that you can come back with some positive rather than focusing on the negative stuff that's going. So this is just a small part of what I teach in my courses. So I'm super, super excited. Next Thursday, so tomorrow week, on the June the 16th, we are starting our first ever 24-week course. So this is going to be amazing. It's going to take us right up until about mid-November. So perfect timing, you know, for the end of 2022, a fresh new start for the, you know, the school holidays, Christmas holidays, break, etc. And really being able to focus on positively parenting and those beautiful, juicy, connected, heart-centered relationships that you all really seek. So the reason for 24 weeks, some of you may have already participated in one of my other, say, 9-week or 12-week courses. The reason for 24 weeks is that this course is particularly designed to support those families who need that extra help, extra support, not only from myself and from Naturopath Nathan, but also from the community of people who join us. So if you want to know more about the 24-week or any of my other courses or anything that I do, please do reach out. You can go to my website, parentsupportnetwork.com.au. As you can see up the top there, there is now a facility there on the home page to book a 30-minute consultation, or you can message me directly, you can text me, you can Facebook message me and say, hey, I'd love to have a chat. I'd love to, you know, discuss my family with you, or maybe find out about a bit more about what you do or one of your courses. Keeping in mind, though, that we are starting this next one in just a week's time. And of course, being a 24-week course, you want to catch that as early as you can, you know, as we're starting in the first or second week. So yeah, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed the toaster analogy. I love Howie's stories. You know, as you come into my course and learn the Nurtured Heart approach, you'll notice that there are a lot of stories that we use, and it really, I know facts tell. Have you ever heard this? Facts tell and stories sell, and we learn more by listening to stories. So that's it from me today. I look forward to catching you next week. And I look forward to hearing from you. If you would like to connect on any level, Lillian Reiki, parenting strategist at Parent Support Network, equipping parents and educators, caregivers of children to enjoy happy and healthy children and relationships on purpose. Bye for now.